How many of you remember sitting in class when you're in school, and then you heard over the loudspeaker your name?
Steve Wilder, please come to the principal's office.
All too often.
And then what happens when everybody hears your voice, your name being announced? Everybody's going, "Oh, Steve's in trouble! Steve's in trouble!" I remember that's what happened when they said my name. And what was it that I was afraid I was going to hear? Some feedback about me. And it probably wasn't going to be good. And this is as a kid, and we've learned that we get feedback all the time. We're getting feedback whether we want it or we don't want it. And this is what we're going to cover. We're going to get into the section of we've done active listening. We've looked at setting up expectations. Now we're going to go into the part of giving feedback. In order to have a high-performing organization, or the thing that's the biggest drawback to performance is a lack of clear expectations and good feedback. So you've got to have both of those. So we're at the point now where we're going to look at how we give effective feedback. And we've got a tool and planner we're going to use, and we're going to look at some videos on this and a couple of exercises. So, what is feedback? Feedback is a comparison of the actual performance to the expectation. And it's given in a way that can be utilized by the individual. You've got the actual performance, right? But we take it and we become more specific about it.
Having your PPE on, correct PPE when doing the job.
Right. And then you're going to be able to observe whether they do or not. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're going to give them feedback, you're giving them that information in a way that it can be utilized by the individual. Utilized by the individual. Can be utilized by the individual. Feedback is not effective if the person can't use it. Now, I want you to think for a minute. I want you to visualize somebody that you worked for, like the best boss that you've maybe ever had. And most likely that boss was probably someone who could deliver difficult news about your performance. But do it in a way that it didn't hurt you, because you knew that they had your best interest at heart. Can anybody think of somebody that they had a boss like that? I'd just like to hear from somebody that, if you've experienced that before.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so how did it feel when you got feedback from that person?
Well, it stung a little bit, but I knew that over time it was wonderful feedback. But at the beginning it stung.
Right. 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 And that's the big challenge. That's the challenge that we face with feedback, is that